No, I'm not Buddhist. I don't believe in Buddha or in Christ. I don't believe in God. I believe in my father and my mother.
Well, here you have it, the Airag. This is fermented mare's milk. I like your style, man. I mean, with the earrings. Have you drunk vodka? Vodka?
Vodka?
Yes, vodka.
I'm drunk.
Yeah. Welcome to Mongolia.
Thank you. Hello? Hello. How are you? No fight. Spain.
Boxes.
No box. No box. Peace. No. No, thank you. Man, we're off to a good start. The guy was totally wasted. Good morning from the hills of Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, land of nomads, and the conqueror Genghis Khan. I have a few hours before I catch my flight to the next destination, and I want to get to know the city a little better. So, let's go. When we hear about Mongolia, we usually picture vast desert plains, mountains, and frozen lakes, with herders traveling across these lands on horseback, holding an eagle on one of their arms, just as their ancestors did long ago while conquering much of the Asian continent. Although these scenes can still be found in Mongolia today, the reality is that over the past century, Mongolia has undergone major changes in the organization of its society and economy. It went from being a nomadic feudal society for centuries to a planned socialist economy and an ally of the Soviet Union at the beginning of the last century. And, after its collapse, to a market economy focused on livestock and the mining industry, with large differences in wealth between the rich and the poor. In the last 3 decades, there has been a process of migration from the countryside to the capital by nomadic herders, mainly caused by the collapse of the Soviet bloc, and a series of harsh and prolonged winters, locally known as dzud, which killed millions of livestock and devastated the herders' economy. During the period of Soviet influence, mobility between regions was restricted. In addition, the agricultural sector operated under the system of state collective farms, where the state allocated resources and guaranteed employment. The sudden transition to a free market economy dismantled this system, privatizing livestock and leaving herders without state logistical and financial support. Due to limited options and lifted mobility restrictions, a large migration from the countryside to the capital began and still continues, lacking access to the formal real estate market. The migrants chose to set up their gers, the traditional yurts, on plots of land in the hills surrounding the city, giving rise to the current ger districts. If you do a quick search on the internet, you'll see that the first headlines that come up when you search for Ulaanbaatar, it's that it's the coldest capital city in the world, where the lowest temperatures are recorded, as my beard can attest right now. I think we have minus 23 degrees, that's what my phone says, minus 20 something. The second headline, it's the most polluted capital in the world, or one of the most polluted. The reason isn't just the gases emitted by the chimneys of factories and power plants, which you can see and which outline the city's skyline, but also a very curious fact, and that is, there is a massive migration from the countryside to the city. If you come around here and take a quick look around, you'll see that it's full of yurts, like this one I have right in front of me. These neighborhoods rarely have plumbing or electricity, and most of the yurts, as you can see, use chimneys. You can also see chimneys around here with smoke coming out, either from the kitchen or the stove they use. And all of this contributes to the city's poor air quality. There are tons of them. Look, here's a yurt, this one is smoking. They're either cooking or warming up in there. But there are more here. You can see that in this case, besides the yurt, they're building a house. I imagine they start by bringing the yurt, and then little by little, they settle in. You can see how the yurts coexist in the yard with other houses, and it's kind of like a shanty town. It reminds me of Spain. With the country's industrialization, people moved from the countryside to the cities, and shanty towns sprang up. Here, it's simply the Mongolian nomadic version. As you can see, well, there's barely any light here. There's electricity, some street lights, but it's not paved. You can see there's trash. It's a bit dirty, right? Not well maintained. Look, this is what I was telling you about. Here you can see the yurt and the brick house. And the bathroom here, away from the house. That maroon shed. Must be the bathroom. Which will surely be a hole in the ground, basically, an old-fashioned latrine. This part is lit up, but if you go to the hill, where I just came from, it's not. For example, back there you can see there's hardly any wiring. And look, just a few meters from where I started the video, you've got quite a contrast here. A school. Who would think that among so many yurts and wooden houses, there's a small but otherwise normal school? With its little playground, bright colors, and everything nicely decorated? To give you an idea of the scale of this migration from the countryside to the city, Mongolia currently has, according to statistics, about 3.5 million inhabitants. Half of them live in the capital, Ulaanbaatar. Mongolia is the country. The least densely populated in the world, too. Another headline. And here you can see, at this intersection, how the neighborhood is improving its infrastructure. Here there are stone and dirt roads, and here we already have asphalt. This would be like the main avenue. Stalactites are already forming on my mustache. That's how cold it is. And if you were curious about what grocery stores are like here in this neighborhood, this is one of them. Let's take a look. Let's see what they have. Well, the first thing you can see is the firewood for the stoves, right here. They sell it in these packages, in these sacks. Let's see if they have Airag, which is a drink made from milk. Hello, I'm a tourist. Do you speak English?
I don't know how to speak good English.
Airag, drink. Drink. Airag.
Do you want to drink cola?
Cola? No cola. Airag. What is this? Beer?
Alcohol.
Alcohol, okay.
Do you want some?
No, thank you. How much is it?
Go ahead, you go first.
How much does it cost? Alcohol. I'll pay for it for you. Can't you pay? Don't you have any money?
There's no internet.
It's on me. How much is it?
Yeah.
I can see the guy is having trouble paying. Let me give you a hand. Even though he's drunk, I shouldn't do this. How much does it cost?
No.
Yes, it's on me. I'm a tourist. Tourist, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
It's the Mongolia New Year, so take it as a gift.
Thanks, bro.
How much is it?
24,002 grigs. Where are you from?
I'm from Spain. Spain. Do you know it? Madrid.
Yeah, bro.
Here.
Thanks, bro.
You're welcome.
Welcome to Mongolia.
Thank you.
Goodbye, brother.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Take care. Do you have Airag?
Airag.
Here?
No? Airag. Uh-huh. Here. No?
Okay. They had all kinds of alcohol and vodka, as you could see, but they didn't have Airag, which is a drink made from fermented milk. Let's keep going, and see if I can find it somewhere more central, in some supermarket, because I feel like having a sip. By the way, while I'm recording this, it's Lunar New Year here in Mongolia. Well, it's also in China and other parts of the world, but here in Mongolia, which is where I am. You can see that everything is kind of running at half speed. People are celebrating, partying, getting drunk. As you may have seen, first the young guy, the one asking for beer, and then the other man, who bought himself a bottle of vodka. So don't be surprised if you see a lot of drunk people. Besides, here in Mongolia, I've noticed they're tough. You know? They like to drink, they go hard. Let's check this other store for it. Thank you. Look, there he is in traditional dress. Hello.
Airag? Airag. Airag.
Do you have Airag? Do you have Airag? Yes? Okay. This store is bigger, it has more variety. It looks like a small neighborhood supermarket.
Joder.
Okay, this is Airag, yes? From Mongolia.
Yes, this is Airag.
Okay, thank you. Do you live here in this neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay, and is it good?
Yeah, that's good.
I like your style, man.
Thank you, man.
I like the earrings, they're very cool. How much are they?
So,
Okay, 9,500, which comes to about €2. Thank you. Well, here you have it. It was what I wanted. After the first failed try, it was easier than I expected. Airag, which is fermented mare's milk. I've never tried it, honestly. I've tried other similar things, milk drinks like ayran, but not from a mare. And here in Mongolia, the basis of their diet, is meat and dairy products. Cheers. It really is bitter. Hello. Hello.
whew.
The Airag is strong. As you'd expect, here in Mongolia, everything is strong. It has a taste like Cabrales cheese, I swear. Like blue cheese, for those who don't know Cabrales, blue cheese. Or like Roquefort or Gorgonzola. Wow, it's like drinking a Gorgonzola, basically. It has that aftertaste, but honestly, at first it doesn't taste like that. It tastes bitter. There's no way I'll be able to finish it. This must have alcohol. No, it doesn't seem like it. I'm having a hard time, huh? Look, I like cheese and dairy products, but this... It's on a whole different part of the flavor spectrum. It's more sour than bitter. Sour would be the right word, and if I get into culinary critic mode, I'd even say it has an initial taste of cider. It's strange, but I can't describe the flavors you taste. Airag, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Pretty strong for our first meeting. Maybe in the future I'll get used to you. I'm going to leave you here half-finished for now. Alright, just a bit more, so no one can say I gave up. I hate leaving things unfinished. Do you have children? Yes?
Yes, 3. 2 daughters and a son.
Do they know how to ride a horse?
Yes, they do.
A big girl.
18.
Years old, okay?
No, in dead. Well, dead, Rybanak, so he, 2 years.
No, my good one. Daughter, she is young, not bad also.
Well, Rybanak?
Woman also. Yes, when she was little, she is in years.
9 years old, and he rides the motorcycle. And wife, when she was little? Is she young? Yes.
She is young, about 2 years old. Ulaanbaatar.
3 there.
3 in the village. Ulan, 3 in the village. Grass.
In tres.
Tres.
And Embatoria?
The village? No.
Big Aga, the tastiest milk in Mongolia. This is horse milk, yes. You drink it every day, right? Yes.
Yes, no.
Not every day.
No, not every day. I like it. I like it. Liters, 5 liters, 5 liters, 5 liters, 5 liters. See, Buddhist.
Yes, Buddhism, Buddhist.
No, I'm not Buddhist. Don't you think so? Well, not Buddhist. It's not Christ. It's not, right? It's not God. There is no God, Dad. Mom, okay.
I understand, Mom. Did you teach him Russian when he was little?
Yes, at school?
Yes, when he was little, right? At 34 years old, The language. At 34 years old, yes.
The next stop on the itinerary through Ulaanbaatar is this hill, where there is a monument to the Soviet and Mongolian soldiers who fought together in the Great Patriotic War in World War II. It's a shame my camera broke right when I was talking to the taxi driver. He was telling me, so I recorded with my phone and saved something. But he was telling me, to give you some context, that he was born here in Ulaanbaatar, but his wife was a nomad, one of those who had come here from the countryside, from rural areas. Here, in this part of the city, the landscape changes significantly. All apartment buildings, big ones, tall vertical concrete towers. And the yurts, where I was before, are on the other side of the city, mostly on those hills you see. I'm not sure if the camera can see it, but that bare hill right there is where I was. I took a look. I'm here now. Damn, you wouldn't believe how strong the wind is. My ears are freezing. The monument, besides being dedicated to the soldiers as I mentioned before, also symbolizes the friendship between the Soviet Union and Mongolia, the Socialist Republic of Mongolia. It was built between 1969 and 1971, and it looks similar to many of the other monuments scattered throughout the former Soviet Union. It consists of a large statue of a soldier with a flag and the hammer and sickle on top. And inside there's a circle with illustrations, with mosaics in this case. Look at the illustrations, how beautiful they are. Here are the cosmonauts with the pioneers, some soldiers with the doves of peace, workers from the metallurgical plants. Here you can see the soldiers with the German Nazi banners thrown on the ground, and at the same time, the two soldiers with the Soviet Union flags held high. You can see different scenes like soldiers hugging children, women and mothers crying over the loss of their sons and husbands, what appear to be Soviet and Mongolian soldiers shaking hands in a gesture of brotherhood. Also, this one here, very striking. These are the Mongolians in traditional clothing, a woman breastfeeding her newborn, and the Red Army soldiers receiving a gift from the woman. More soldiers in attack position, you can see a machine gun or two around there. And in the center, here there should be the eternal flame, but as you can see, the glass that protected it is broken and it's out. It's strange to me. They don't take care of it. And I looked up at the trees here. Look, it's full of sparrows. Wow. I didn't notice. They blend with the branches. What I wanted to say is that they have these banners tied here. I don't know what they're called. Typical Buddhist flags. How do sparrows survive here? It's incredible with how cold it is. These ones look chubbier, with more feathers. Otherwise, of course, how would they endure? This here must be the more affluent part of the city, compared to where I was this morning, and they're building more buildings over there. And look, now you can understand why it's one of the most polluted cities, besides the fact that they still use coal and wood stoves? The topography of the land where Ulaanbaatar is located is like that, kind of a valley between mountains on both sides. And it causes all the smoke and gases to accumulate. Here, next to the monument, you have these commemorative plaques of the most important battles, I imagine. In fact, look, there are also commemorative plaques, 1921 and 1922. There you can read on other commemorative medals the inscriptions, "Our grandparents were right," or "They were right, that's why we won." And another that says "For capturing Berlin." In 1924, after the Soviet Union helped it gain independence, Mongolia became the second country in the world to adopt socialism after proclaiming the People's Republic of Mongolia. In the previous 2 centuries, it had been known as the region of Outer Mongolia, under the influence of the Chinese Manchu Qing dynasty, until, after a period of instability and revolutions at the beginning of the last century, Lenin's revolutionary movement and his Red Army entered the country, putting an end to centuries of vassalage and industrial stagnation. From then on, Mongolia would begin a strong relationship of economic, political, and military dependence on the Soviet Union, maintaining a balance in foreign relations with both the Soviet Union and China in the early years. After the Sino-Soviet split at the end of the 1950s, Mongolia would end up serving as a buffer state aligned with the USSR, with heavily armed borders. Among the advances and achievements of this period, for example, was the population's literacy rate, which rose from 10% to more than 90% after the adoption of the Cyrillic alphabet in 1941, establishing universities and schools for nomadic children, modernizing livestock farming, and introducing intensive agriculture. The emancipation of women and the prohibition of child marriage, the creation of industrial cities, and the construction of the Trans-Mongolian Railway, as we saw in the previous chapter. And another thing you can find here at the foot of the hill where the monument I just saw is located is this hammer and sickle with a Buddhist symbol, the yin and yang. I don't know what the whole symbol is called, but I've seen it quite a lot around here, in Ulaanbaatar. Interesting mix, huh? And I say interesting because, well, at least during the early years of the Soviet Union, it was frowned upon to practice a religion, right? Whether it was Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist. In fact, look at the taxi driver who told me he doesn't believe in God, that he was an atheist. I guess it's a remnant from those times. And right here next to us, you have the classic tank that you can also find in countries of the former Soviet Union. Earlier I made a mistake. The monument to the fallen Soviet soldiers is this one, with the tank. There you can read, "Memorial to the Soviet soldiers, eternal like the sun in the sky, sacred like the fire on the earth." I imagine it refers to the glory of the soldiers, and you can see that there's the flag of Mongolia and the flag of Russia, not the Soviet Union. An important detail. I really didn't expect this. I've come to film the Buddha you have here. And look what I've found. Horses. Grazing here in the park. Well, this is something you can only see in Mongolia. Wow, they have quite a coat. Of course, to withstand the cold, just like sparrows. They're eating nothing but dead leaves. Don't fight, guys. They're short, but they look strong, broad-shouldered. Here are 3 of them. And here are 4 more. What am I saying, 4? 6. Hey, well, they're nice. I've never seen one of these horses in person before. Don't think we're way out on the outskirts of the city. It's actually the opposite. I'd say this is pretty close to the center. In fact, look, it's full of apartment buildings. And here they are. And speaking of this friendship between the Soviet Union and Mongolia, here it is. A mosaic from those times, in perfect condition and beautiful. The only bad thing is that it's already getting dark and you can't see it in all its splendor. In fact, you can really tell the sun has gone because, honestly, I'm freezing. The trick is to keep moving, but as soon as you stop, even the soles of your feet hurt. There are images depicting workers, agriculture, shepherds, and local Mongolian traditions. You can see horses, women collecting milk, traditional costumes, and also what look like industrial workers, right? One of the most beautiful I've seen and best preserved. And just a few meters from the mosaic I just saw, there's this other one, better lit and with a theme related to industry, right? As you can see, if the other one was more about agriculture and livestock, this one is pure industry. And it's also perfectly preserved. It's great to see. Look, and up there you can read Erdenet, Darkhan, Bakanur, Jotol. These are cities where the most important industry in Mongolia was located.
They drank.
Quanto ereu in Russian, you say, what do you want?
Hot. Hot, hot, hot.
What?
And boom, cheer.
Hotheads. Do you see, Pili? Vodka?
Butter, butter, butter.
Vodka?
Yes, yes. Is it?
What is it? Do you live here?
Not for a long time, no.
I don't know. You don't know. Fine.
You are a tourist. You are a tourist.
You're visiting. Where are you? Spain. Where? Madrid, Spain. I'm not. No, you're not a tourist.
Hispanico.
Hispanico me.
I'm a tourist a little bit.
All right. Like Hispanico.
Así.
Yeah.
Hispanico, what are your names? Victor, and you?
Hello.
Как?
Hispanico, I am Yak, huh?
It's cold. Aha. Yes, Jolo. This video must be the one with the most drunk people in it. Here, I've said it before, they really go hard on the drinks. Also, keep in mind that these are parties, right? So, they're celebrating. And like the lady said, it's freezing cold. I just checked, and right now it's minus 22, but every hour it's going to drop until it reaches minus 27 as it gets darker. It's so cold here that there are ice statues on the street. Let's try. This ice slide, right? You don't get the chance every day. I hope I don't get my butt too wet. Here we go. Well, that wasn't bad. I expected it to be faster, huh? There you have Genghis Khan, the emperor, conqueror, the greatest figure of the Mongol Empire, and someone who still looms large for Mongolians today. I'm sure many of you know him, but for those who don't, Genghis Khan managed to unify all the Mongol nomadic tribes, wiping out everything in his path, by the way, and turning his troops, experienced horse archers, into some of the most feared in the world at that time. The Mongol people originated in the vast steppes of Central Asia, and until the appearance of Genghis Khan in the 12th century, it was traditionally made up of a group of clans, confederations, and tribes of Turkic and Tungusic origin that lacked a unified national identity and constantly competed with each other for resources. Through military skill, reforms, and strategic diplomacy, Genghis Khan achieved the unification of the clans and, within a matter of decades, expanded his domains from the coasts of China to Eastern Europe, forming the largest contiguous empire in history. During his rule, innovations were implemented such as a legal code that regulated civil and military aspects, known as Yasa, and a postal and rapid messaging system that ensured effective communication throughout all the territories. This period of rule allowed what some historians call the Pax Mongolica, an era of relative stability that favored the reactivation of trade routes and with it, the exchange of goods, religions, science, and technology between civilizations. Despite this, the vast size of the empire and the cultural differences between the conquered regions, along with the succession crisis, caused it to gradually fragment into various khanates. And, after some years, the original Mongol core would end up under the control of the Manchu Qing dynasty. Another thing that I found curious about Ulaanbaatar is this monument to the Beatles, the world-famous leading pop-rock band of the 60s and 70s. However, they never played here in Mongolia, but the story behind this monument is very peculiar. It turns out that since Mongolia was a very close country, or at least close to this kind of Western influence, young people used to gather in this square to sing and listen to songs by the Beatles, in a somewhat illegal way, so to speak. And years later, thanks to the initiative of a Mongolian vocalist, a Mongolian musician, they created this small tribute that you can find in the center of Ulaanbaatar. Naturally, I've come to eat. Well, actually, to have dinner now, since it's not really lunchtime anymore, and to try the local beer. Golden Gobi. The Golden Gobi. The Golden Gobi Desert. I've been told it's very good. So as always, for you all, cheers. The place I've come to, I'll be honest with you, it's not the most typical one I could have found. I'm talking about the decoration, the dishes, although they do have traditional food, but it's very much oriented towards the Bavarian style, right? From Bavaria, yes. Well, look at the glasses, the decoration too, Oktoberfest style, and what really surprised me is that they're broadcasting video games. Specifically Counter-Strike, a game I used to play, well, when I was about 12 years old or so. It's the first time I've gone to a bar and they're broadcasting video games online, or a video game tournament, I guess. In any other bar they'd be broadcasting soccer, right? Or, I don't know, basketball, or the winter games, any sport. Well, here's the first course. Lamb liver with fat, you can see it here. I'm not really into eating these things, liver specifically, but hey, traditional food. The girl told me this is traditional here. And it has some onion too. I'm sure this helps to deal with the cold better. Cheers, I'm already salivating. Here goes. Very good. This is just what I needed to recover from the cold. Look, so you can take a closer look, you can see the fat and the liver. And to complement, I ordered these empanadas, also filled with meat. This is something more typical that I've tried in Central Asia. Well, they are, and you can try them all over the world, right? But they're known in Central Asia as cheburek, and that's it. It's fried dough filled with meat. So cheers to you all. There you have it. I'm going to finish my dinner and my beer in peace. See you in a bit. And if we started the video with the newest Gyr neighborhoods, the yurt neighborhoods, now I've come here to wrap it up at the first or the oldest neighborhood where these nomads settled. Here you can see a gyr, a fenced yurt. But it's surrounded by much better infrastructure than what we saw this morning, right in the middle of the city. This neighborhood is just a few blocks from the city center. And well, I get the feeling that their presence here is merely symbolic now. Because as you can see, most of the streets are already paved, there's electricity, buildings, and all the comforts you'd expect in a city. Plumbing, water, heating. I've come here to the first neighborhood of yurts, of gyrs, to give a bit more context about this massive migration and the problems it brings. Now they're at a crossroads, so one of the solutions the government is pursuing is to build standard apartment buildings, right? The apartments we saw before, and exchange their land for an apartment. But of course, many of these people don't want to give up their little piece of land, no matter how poor it is, to go live in a 40 square meter apartment. Look, I don't know if you can see it, there's not much light left. But for example, in this gyr, in this yurt, you can see there's light and there must be people living there. And they also have their latrine here. They are the resistance, so to speak, those who refuse to leave this first yurt neighborhood. And it's very interesting to see the contrast. Here you can really notice it. Unpaved streets and right next to them all the comforts of the big city. Let's go. Here, for example, you can see a plot that's already been cleared, without the GR, but it surely belonged to a nomad who has already moved and now has sold the plot. Look, you can even see here plots that are much better set up, with metal gates and wooden planks neatly in place. So with this beautiful view of the Buddhist temple in the Ger neighborhood, the yurt neighborhood, I'm going to end the video. I hope you found it as interesting and enjoyable as I did. And as I always say, see you next time. Bye.
Вот это да. И сахи, да? Сахи.
Саха есть из
Саха.
тунгуса тоже есть, наверное.
Это рок Шахатова y Nacional Museo.
Puede ver en el mapa que incluso está marcada la carretera de hielo.